my first job that I got from the university was in real estate. And it was the first company that fired me. So before I start talking about artificial intelligence, I want to state a precedence as I stand before you. When I was 9 years old, my first encounter with the built industry was when I climbed a wall that was unfinished. That was my first encounter with an accident. That is when I knew that unfinished structure and a human being should understand each other before they come into contact. My second encounter in the real estate industry, my first job that I got from the university was in real estate. And it was the first company that fired me. I was fired by the built environment. Now, so you can understand that when I'm standing before you here, I have a lot to say. And the good thing is that I have got to understand artificial intelligence within the built industry to get to understand ways in which we could have a better interaction as we are having today. So it is indeed a pleasure to be here and to talk about transforming the built environment. What is the role of artificial intelligence in architecture and quantity surveying? As you have heard about me, I am an author of a book called The Future in Technologies Through a Woman's Eye. You can get that in Amazon. But I am also the founder and CEO of Tech Mindset Africa, an institution that educates Africa in artificial intelligence. And we have been able to educate over 10,000 people across the globe and 6 countries within Africa. And we continue with that endeavor, and I believe that is the reason we are standing here together to understand that. But I'm also, as I said, a mother of 2 and passionate about how AI is going to impact the generations. As I stand here, I might not use AI to its fullness, but I know my children will. I know their children and their children's children will be impacted. And if I do not stand here to talk about it and also to understand it, then I do not offer a fair future to my children. And I hope this is the same aspect to you as well. I believe most of you, if I can tell your age, would be more or less within my age range. If you're sitting here and you're talking, you want to understand about AI, please understand that you're just doing it to start transforming with AI today so that your children could benefit. Because without AI, tomorrow is not guaranteed. Now, let's talk about the objectives. What we are going to learn today is very simple. We are going to understand artificial intelligence and what its context is in architecture and quantity surveying. And also we're going to understand why is it important that you should digitize before you embark on AI. And then we'll also look at the insights of what the opportunities are in AI in your industry, and also what it takes to become an AI-driven organization, and what are the available tools that can get you started. So the question is, what is the connection between artificial intelligence and architecture? What is the connection between artificial intelligence and quantity surveying? I want to take you through your world, all right? And this is what my assumption is. As an architecture, right? The processes that you go designing, the processes that you go building structures in your mind, the processes that you go through drawing those lines, every angle, every intricate structure tells a story. Every line that you draw on that paper is solving a certain problem in the space that you're building. But I also want you to imagine, how about a world where there is a tool that could create this for you. Just give it an idea and it gives you billions of opportunities to create a better structure. Now for quantity surveyors, here which we'll refer to as QS, I know sometimes you go through a lot of painstaking cost estimations, budgets. You know, you're looking at numbers, you're looking at figures, you're looking at the economical value of a project, of a building project. Now, I want you to imagine an intelligent tool that comes to play in this environment and helps you do this so that you don't have to go through the manual tasks. You don't have to kind of estimate, but all you need to do is just to get insights and make faster decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we call the world of artificial intelligence. And what I can define artificial intelligence is, this is where we ask then, what is AI? Artificial intelligence is the bridge between the art of design and the science of efficiency. When we bring this together, then we are looking at the world of AI. I want us to get to basics, because we understand right now most of us are using AI. How many people are currently using AI in one way or another? If you know about ChatGPT, you are using AI. Is it that, do you use ChatGPT? You do not use ChatGPT. Great, this conversation is for you. I want us to go back to basics. Now here we're looking at artificial intelligence, but do we know where this comes from? Artificial intelligence is training a machine to do what a human being does. What do I mean? For example, for me to stand here today, this is me doing this, but if there was a machine to project this presentation physically at the same time in another country or in another room like this, and still have this interaction and do exactly the same thing that I'm doing, that is artificial intelligence. But the question is, how does this happen? It happens very simply. First, when you're training a machine, there are different ways that a machine is trained. And one of them is what we call machine learning. You train a machine using existing data. Now, I'll give an example in the architecture and the quantity survey industry. You have a lot of sketches, for example, or a lot of reports when it comes to your project. When you put that data in a machine, other than what you know you want to get out of it, a machine is able to identify patterns of like 10 years of your data and give you information that you would not have known looking at it today. That is machine learning. When you train a machine with the data that exists. Once you've trained a machine, I'm going to give this example. For example, you have a lot of designs that you want to feed a machine to understand different aspects of a building, all right? Deep learning is when the machine is able to identify intricate details of every part of the structure. What do I mean? I'm going to give a human example. For example, if I had my twin standing next to me, the human eye is going to identify us as twins, and you might not know our differences. If we wore the same, if we had the same hairstyle and we spoke, you say this is Joanne, Mary, Joanne, you wouldn't really tell. But with deep learning, a machine is able to deeply look at our skin color. Possibly our eyelids are slightly, my sister's eyelid would be slightly higher. My pupil might have a lighter color into it. So a machine identifies that difference and it can tell that difference. So when we talk about this particular industry, when you want, for example, to create a model that identifies intricate details of your structure, then that is what we call training a machine through deep learning. And another way to train a machine is through computer vision. Computer vision is training a machine to see what we see. What I can see right now are people, chairs, TVs, bottles of water, etc. So you are training a machine for a particular reason. Now, an example in our industry, in architecture and QS, in quantity surveying. You want to train a machine to identify who wears helmets and who does not. Your purpose maybe basically is to manage safety. So how would you train a machine? You would train it to first who a human being is, how they look like wearing a helmet and how they look like not wearing a helmet. So once you do that, then let's say your application of this is a drone system. The drone system is able to scan a project, an existing project, and can tell you out of the 50 people on site, 10 are not wearing helmets. How did you train the machine? You train the machine to see and identify people who wore helmets and people who did not. That is computer vision in AI. Another way you can train a machine is generative AI. Now, what is generative AI? Generative AI is what cuts across every aspect of AI by generating new data. What do I mean? So for example, if you train a machine with all this machine learning, computer vision, natural language processing, etc., then it gets you something new that is not existent. A good example is what we are talking about, ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been fed with what we call large language models. Large language models, that means the first day since the time immemorial when we started typing in our computer, there's an email that you sent. The email, or rather a report that was sent 50 years ago. The mathematical equation that was put in the computer 20 years ago. All that data has been fed in a machine. And that is why when you query it in a specific way, it gives you something new. So for example, you want to write a resignation letter. During my times, you'll have to write it, cross it over, cross it down, write it again, you change the tone. Now, today it's possible to generate something that is personal. Because imagine how many people have written resignation letters in the past 20 years. So it just takes a word after the other based on who you are, based on what you have shown the machine you are, and it gives you what you need. That is generative AI. So you can imagine the generative AI aspect in architectural and quantity surveying industry. What would it do? How many designs would it come up with? How many cost estimations and formulas can it generate better? Generative AI, I would say, will be the greatest focus for this industry to look at in future. Now, when we talk about AI, AI cannot be trained without data. I'm sure we have established that by now. But what we want to know first, are you digitized? Today we talk about I want to start using AI in my organization. Yes, you can do that at a personal level, possibly maybe because you've encountered AI. But the question you should ask yourself, are you digitized? What do I mean by digitization? Now, the old digital, to be digital, the fact that you have a mobile phone, a smart mobile phone, you're digital. But are you digitized? Are you saving your files on cloud? Do you understand? Have you normalized within your organization saving on cloud? Do you have your meetings virtually, or do we punish our employees today for not coming to work? If that is the state of your organization right now, you are not digitized. Are you holding meetings every week or every month, compulsorily physical? My friends, you are not digitized. Do you handle your projects manually by putting people to tasks, or do you have project management softwares? If you do not have project management softwares, you are not digitized. Are you surveying your sites physically by writing with notes and pens? I can see most of you smiling. Yes, you are not digitized. Today, we have the ability to use drones to survey sites and give you accurate information on what is happening. That is digitization. I don't know how many people know about augmented reality or virtual reality. If you have not normalized that word, please read about it, start understanding it. That is digitization. All this cannot run through if you don't have a good network. If you're still running under 4G network, change your provider. You must be digitized. AI systems, digital systems cannot run fast and give you what you need today if you're under anything below 4G and below. Please get digitized. Are you printing using glues and sticks? I hope not, because you're not digitized. There is 3D printing, especially in this industry. There is no reason today for you not to print a 3D demonstration of a building when you are portraying a project. You can't go with papers tomorrow and start demonstrating what you can do as an architecture or as an architect or as a quantity surveyor. That means you're not digitized. Internet of Things. I challenge you to read about it. Why is this important? This is important because without digitization, AI cannot be revolutionized within your space. How does this work? Let's look at why digitization is important. When you're using a project management softwares, what you generate are reports. What you generate are estimations. What you generate are insights of one project or one insight to another. But the question is, all this data that you're having, does it make sense to you? If it does not make sense, I want you to go back to the drawing board and start understanding digitization for AI to work. Why? Because, for example, with the data that you have, you can start identifying areas of automation within your systems. When you have, for example, tasks that are being done repeatedly over and over, report writing, accounting, project management, all these are opportunities, all right, to get yourself into the world of AI, to automate this. You no longer have to get into the office and start printing out reports. All you need to do is to put your mobile phone in a system, plug it in with a charger, and what it gives you are the expected reports of the day, and it generates a report that you're going to give to the board. That is automation in artificial intelligence. When you have an existing droning system, for example, at the site today, yes, that was digitization, but how do you put AI on top of it for it to make sense for you? What can you do with an existing digital technology? With AI and a drone technology, it's very, very simple to identify risks before they occur, to identify areas of human hazards, to identify green technology in any case you're not using it, to identify waste management, to identify wastes before you manage, to identify areas that, for example, could be pitfalls or cements that are not dry, like my accident situation. If that was identified, that could have been managed. So what I'd ask you is, what do you think are the opportunities of artificial intelligence within the architecture and quantity surveying industries? The opportunities are immense. And I know my co-presenter is going to present that. But for me here, I'm basically telling you what is possible and taking you to basics, that AI can be used tremendously within your industry, whether it's writing your reports, whether it's generating your report, whether it's estimating what you're doing, whether it is analyzing, whether it's creating structural, architects. within your systems, AI is able to do that and give you beautiful ways. I'm going to demonstrate that in a few, but I want to look at what are the potential risks of AI. So we've talked about, we know that what AI can do. We know the ability that AI can have to transform our organizations, to transform us. But what are the risks? The first thing, and I know this is a question not only to you, but to so many people across Africa and globally, will AI replace me?
Yes, but it can also create other jobs.
Absolutely. AI is going to, I will tell you the honest truth. If you're doing something that you do every day, AI can do it better. It is going to replace that, but you have to start thinking, what are the other opportunities? Working with AI is an opportunity. For example, if I'm a customer care, today you can see robots that are serving customers on your behalf. Does that mean that we have to fire the customer care person? Absolutely not. Who trained that robot in the first place? It's the customer care person, because they understand. But other than that, do you think the robot is able to understand what you really need right here? The robot can serve you tea. It can give you a magazine or a newspaper of the day. But can it tell that you're having not a very good day or that you're irritating it? Possibly yes, possibly no. But a human being can instinctively do that and change the course on how you're serving that customer. So yes, robots, or rather artificial intelligence, in different ways could replace us. But there are also opportunities. It's creating other opportunities for you and I to get to understand AI and work side by side with it. But what I can guarantee you is, anyone and everyone who knows AI in your industry is going to replace you without a doubt. AI might not replace you, but the person who knows AI will. I want you to ponder about that. The other thing is bias and fairness. When you have now decided to embark on an AI project, so for example, you want to use AI to identify people who come to work, or rather people, how people feel when they come to work. The question is, have you trained your machine to identify everyone fairly? What do I mean? Does your AI, has it been trained to identify women inclusive of men and others today, as you say? Has your AI been trained to identify black from white, yellow from green colors? Has your AI been trained to identify a person who can walk and who cannot? How are they served to have the equal opportunities? Those are the things that you need to understand when you're getting to implement artificial intelligence within your organization. Privacy concerns. AI uses massive data. So today you're told, or rather you're advised by your AI engineers, that we're going to take massive photos of you everywhere you are in the field. But don't you think there's an opportunity for someone somewhere who would use your photo, in any case they have malice, and say, ona siku hizi alikuwa mtu ni mtu wa mjengo na alikuwa anaona bar hapa, tulidhani ataenda huku siku hizi anajenga, and they spread that photo just because they had access to it and manipulate it just to bring you down. That is data privacy. And realistically, what is happening today? Your identity, the day you took a photo and sent it online to whatever site, I don't know what sites you send your photos to, but the day you did, you gave your rights away. Because there's potential that someone would use your face for something to their own gain. We know about we are all adults, pornography online. They're creating films and movies, but the faces are not real. Now imagine you get an email that you have been identified to do such an act and you have no idea. what that happens. It's because at some point you won't understand it, but at some point your face worked somewhere on the internet. That is data privacy. So the question is, as you are giving information online, are you thinking about whom you're giving it to, or you're just clicking agree? How many of us click agree or yes, allow cookies? Or give your data, you just say yes, 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 so that you get to the point. We do not know what these people are going to do with this data. Data privacy is key. Sensitize yourself, sensitize your organizations, and let them know about these risks. And make sure you manage that in the process. Transparency and explainability. You can have machine learning engineers, AI engineers, data scientists, they come start collecting files from you. You don't understand yet. For example, maybe management or the board has decided that we want to embark on AI for our company, but you have not explained to the people down there. That is unfair. What you just need to do is to take time and educate the people who are going to be affected by implementing AI. And finally, accountability. Whom are you going to tell? Are you telling your customers, your clients, your consultants that you're going to be using AI and why you're using it? Real world case studies in our industry, in the industry of architecture and quantity surveying. There are so many ways on how you can start implementing AI, but we can just play a 2-minute video that can show the potential of who is where at the site, what are they doing. You can query, they have integrated with ChatGPT. You can query the job description of someone's face that you do not know on your site. You can query a structural, let's say, accident, why it happened, and what was the process before it happened. Toggle AI is revolutionizing, but this is just one. There are so many. For example, Arc Design. You can be able to create floor plans using Arc Designs. Adobe Firefly. You can create structural buildings using Adobe Firefly, and also Pello. You can be able to manage how dusty it is within your construction site, or who is throwing what paper, is it recyclable, etc., etc. So these are real world use cases of AI within the architecture and QS. Why am I saying this? We are sitting on tools that we have capabilities of manipulating to our liking. Manipulating here in a good way. Don't sit down and say AI is vague or I can just use AI to make letters. Make it useful for you today. Make it work for you. If you don't know something about a subject or you want to explore more, use the tools you have. Use ChatGPT. Use Gemini AI. Generate structures in the fastest way and then work backwards with your skills. And work as if you would work in a usual way, but let the tools do that for you. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, what will be the next steps for you as an organization? The first thing is learn. Get to know what AI is. Get to understand it in your context. Get to understand what AI means for me as an architect. Get to understand what AI means for me as a quantity surveyor. Get to understand what AI is for me as an administrator. Once you understand and learn, then start identifying, have we digitized to be able to do this? And then thirdly, start small. Don't go and start calling in and hire data scientists, AI engineers. No. Just do it in a small way. Start using small tools that you can use in a small department and start exploring, getting to understand. And then from there, iterate, go back and forth. See, does this work for me? Does it not? Is it going to work for another department? Is it not going to? And then finally, once you get a grasp for it, scale it up. Create a whole project and make sure that every department or the whole organization can access it. And finally, preguntas respuestas. Do we have any question?